Carball, I'm going to go over the statistics that we learned in class today. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our mean average. Remember, mean is written like this with the X with the line over it. And the way you write the mean, find the mean average is you find the sum total of adding all the data. So here's all our data here. We're going to add that up, and then we're going to divide it by the number of pieces of data, okay? So we are going to add up all those pieces of data, and we're going to divide it by the orange, okay? So the orange, if we counted all these, we have 10 here, all right? So n equals 10, and then we put all those numbers there, and we add them up. So we're going to add up 55, 65, so we got 55, 65, 50, this couple's going to go to everything, 50, plus 57, plus 59, plus 73, plus 57, plus 54, this couple ran out of space, plus 62, plus 68. If we add all that together, okay, we would get 600, all that added up, divided by 10. Okay. And that would give us our mean average of 600 divided by 10 equals 60. So that's our mean average, 60. Okay. So we're going to take that mean average. Now we have to calculate the variance for that mean average. So we're going to set it up. We're going to do all our parentheses. We're going to do our variance now. Variance, Ms. Carball is going to do all in green. Variance looks like the fine looking S with the exponents here. Okay? So it's written like that, like that. Okay, so we're going to do 10 of these. And we're doing parentheses right next to each one. And Ms. Carball is going to get a calculator. And we're going to subtract each one of these and then square it. So we're going to square it. Ms. Carball likes to write everything out first. Okay? Square it. Okay, and then after we do that, we have to add them all up and then divide it by n minus 1. Okay, so the first thing we're supposed to put in there is our mean average. Our mean average for this was 60. So we're going to go 60 minus our first piece of data, which was 55. Then we're going to go 60 for each one of these. Let's do 60 for each one. Okay? And then we're going to subtract each piece of data. That's our xi. Okay? 50, 57, 59, 73, 57, 54, 62, and 68. Now we're squaring it so it doesn't matter if you get a negative number. So 60 minus 55 equals 5. 5 squared equals 25. Then we have another 5 squared is 25. That's going to be 10 squared, that's going to equal 100. Then we're going to have 3, and that's going to equal 9. We're going to have 1. 1 times 1 equals 1. 73, 60 minus 73 is 13. 13 squared equals 169. Then we have another 3. That'll give us 9. That's 6 squared is 36. 2 squared equals 4. And then 8 squared, which equals 64. We're going to add all that up, okay? Because our variance says to add all of the sum of the x to the second pair and then divide it by the n. Remember the colors we're supposed to do it. Ms. Carball forgot. Okay, so that's our n from here. And then we're going to divide each one by our x, each x, and then we're going to subtract it from the mean. So if we do all that, add all that up, when you add all that up, it equals, and then you divide by 10 minus the 1, n minus 1, that'll give you variance of 49.1. Okay, that's our variance. Then you take your variance, this, and you're going to square root it, okay, to get your standard deviation. Our standard deviation is going to be in red. So, standard deviation is going to be in red. So you take this number and you square root it. Square root our s to the second, and that's going to give you the number 7, because we're going to get it to the closest one, it's 7. And we now have our standard deviation. Now, to find our summary table, okay, you're going to take our standard deviation and subtract it from our mean average, and our mean average was, what was our mean average? 60, right? Mean average was 60. So the first one, we got our mean average equals 60. Then we have our variance, which was 49.1. Okay? Now we're going to do our standard deviations. Our first standard deviation is going to be 60 minus 7.0. So 60 minus 7.0 equals 53. And then 60 plus 7.0 is going to give you 67. Then our next standard deviation band, our second one, this is our first one, our second one is going to be 53 minus our 7. So 53 minus our 7 is going to give us 46. And then we're going to add 7 to our 67, and we will get 74. Then our third one, our third standard deviation, is going to be 46 minus our 7, and then we get 39. And then to the 74, we got to add our standard deviation of 7, and that'll give us 81. That's it. Hope that helps.